got so much sleep last night, but it just never feels like enough. This week we're really starting to focus on teaching our focus standards for this month, so it's been easier planning my week. It's just now the execution of it and making sure that I'm teaching it in a way that my students will understand it. Behaviors have been going up. And last week I couldn't record because I was just feeling very overwhelmed with planning and I didn't have time. I was literally at the school planning and getting ready until 8 p.m. and then coming back the next morning by 7:30. Being a first year teacher is really hard. I also had to leave pretty early last Friday, so I didn't get much planned inside of the classroom, or not much prepared inside of the classroom. So I have my plans, but I don't have the students' homework folders put together. I need to make copies this morning. There's so much to do as a teacher and you just feel like you're never getting everything done. Like there's constantly something to do. When you spend more time in the classroom after school, it's like you find out more things that you have to do, especially with all the emails. I've been trying to really take it day by day. Came a little earlier than I usually do too, and it just feels so rushed. Everything feels so rushed. I feel like a mess. I made some copies. I realized that this is my master copy, so I need to go make another copy of that. I am scrambling so much this morning because the principal is planning to walk through the classrooms this week. I don't know if it's today, but anytime the principal walks in, it freaks me out. But I just finished making this poster. It shows the objective, the vocabulary for what I'm teaching, and then how to do it steps. I'm supposed to refer to this every time that I'm modeling and every time that we're doing structured practice, and then hope that the students will look at this when they're doing independent practice. That's checked off of the list. So many more things to do. I only have 4 more minutes until I have to go pick up the kids. Am I ready for the day? No. But will I make it? Yes. My students completely forgot our morning routine. They walked in, they did their attendance, but they didn't look at the screen and realize that they were supposed to take out their high frequency words. So I had to go over that with them again. We started a new set of words too, so I had to teach them that, and then we did our fluency builder. The first focus standard that we're teaching this month is main topic and key ideas. So today I modeled how to do it, and then they did structured practice. We did not have time for independent practice. I set a 5-minute timer where they were supposed to really pay attention to me doing it. This was the modeling page. I went over the steps with them and did it one at a time, and then we did the structure practice, which was about delicious corn. Went over the steps again, each one, did it with them, and then we wrote down the repeated words so that we could use these words to write our main topic sentence, which was, the main topic is how people make food with corn. Their independent practice, which we couldn't get to, is going to be about ice cream. I kind of want them to do this while I send students away for computer lab, and this would be their independent work while I'm working with a small group, but I'm supposed to read this text to them. I think I'll just read it 2 times for them quickly and then have them figure it out with themselves after. They have my how to do it steps. They just need to learn to look up there and figure out what they're supposed to do. I also have a lot of students who take a long time to follow directions, so I'm really pushing them, like, get this done in 1 minute, get this done in 2 minutes, and then rewarding the students who do get it done, because that's enough time to write 1 sentence. A lot of them were very happy that they got to go up the clip chart. Last week, I wasn't too great at clipping them up because I was just teaching, giving paw bucks, which they really enjoyed. I think the paw bucks do such a great job with increasing their participation, so that's mostly why I've been doing that instead of clipping up. I am so beat after today. Math was alright. I mean, they were following along in the beginning, and then once it started becoming structured practice, I just end up losing them. Engagement is really hard for me with this group. They constantly always need like something exciting, but I can't always think of something exciting. I have them do partner shares a lot so that they are thinking about the work and having an idea down. Some of them are more advanced. They understand how to answer the questions quickly, and then there's others that can't read and aren't paying attention when I'm reading it to them. So it's been really hot in my area and we're not allowed to go outside yet. So I've been doing go noodles with them for PE, and after that they became so chaotic. Like, a lot of them were shouting, a lot of them couldn't keep their bodies still. For science, I tried to make it engaging by bringing like this orchid Or I didn't bring it, a student's mom gave it to me. So I've been using this to teach living things, non-living things, plants, what plants need and parts of a plant. They got to look at the roots, touch the stem, touch the leaves, touch different types of leaves and see how they feel. They thought that was cool, but it's hard like keeping them all focused on one thing. Now when it was end of the day, I had them rip out this homework page. After lunch too, my stomach started hurting like crazy. Don't think it was the food that I ate. It started hurting a lot and it never went away. Even right now when the kids are gone, it's still there. I feel like throwing up. I had a lot of sleep today too. My stomach was hurting all night yesterday, so there's definitely something wrong with me. Overall, I'm feeling physically better, so I was able to make it to work. This morning has been so odd with them. Usually in the mornings, they're their best self and they're doing what they're supposed to. But for some reason today, even when we were reading high frequency words, they just weren't doing it. During our scholarly talk time, which is when we're introducing a new word to them and having them use it in a sentence, they've been very engaged with it so far, but today they weren't listening to whatever other people were sharing. When I was modeling for main topic, they were mostly able to look at me, but I don't know if they were actually paying attention to what I was saying. When it was guided practice, it just felt like I completely lost them. Yesterday when I was teaching main topic, they kind of got it. Even just highlighting words take forever for them to do. I couldn't even get to independent practice because I knew none of them would understand how to do it. So I ended up just picking a picture and having them think of like what they see. In the picture we see shovel, scissors, this and that, and then they were trying to figure out what the main topic for those pictures were. The goal is to have them think of more than one word for the main topic. Like the main topic is about gardening tools for plants instead of just saying tools. When it's pictures, they're more engaged and they're able to think of it more. Later on, I was supposed to have them write about dogs too, but at this rate, with how they're behaving and their attention span, I don't even think it's possible for them to write. So I might even switch up my plans today. Hopefully the rest of the day will be okay. The principal walked in while I was doing small groups and I didn't get as nervous because I knew what I was doing in the small group. Like with that group, I was working on CBC words and one of my kids who doesn't know any English has been doing really well with blending it together. So it's great to see that there's progress with him. And he has been trying a little more when it's a whole class thing, but there still needs to be like that one-on-one with him for him to really get into it. The rest of my class, while I am working in small groups, they're pretty good at staying independent and doing their work and getting it done. And I check it after too to make sure. And if not, then I take their duckies. Each of them have this little laminated duck in their pencil box. And if they're not doing their work like they're supposed to, I take it away. And then I go fetch them during recess and lunch recess to get them to do like 3 minutes of work inside of the classroom. That way it teaches them to do their work during instructional time. I need to be a little better at consistently holding them accountable with that. For writing, we are going to continue the dogs. I was going to change it just because their attention was so bad earlier. Our topic sentence is dogs are a popular pet to have, and I was going to have them start writing sentences. When I was talking to the other first grade teacher about how to teach writing topic sentences, since I already know how to do it, I know how, but I don't know how to teach a kid who doesn't know how to do it. So I used this duck cup which has popsicle sticks in it with their names, and I said instead of using it for popsicle sticks, what else can I use it for? So I call them lucky duckies whenever I pull out their name, but they came up with all these other ideas that you can use the duck cup for. We created a topic sentence saying that the duck can be used for putting small things, and each of these are small things, so it all relates to the topic sentence. The writing is so messy, but it's okay. Next Tuesday, they have this mid-writing assessment, which they're not ready for at all. A parent just randomly came to talk to me, and I got so nervous. I didn't know whether it was a check-in or if there was a problem that occurred and she wanted to address it. She was very nice. During math time, there were a couple students who weren't following along as quickly as everyone else, so I had them pulled to a small table while everyone worked on independent practice, and they did so well with doing independent practice. I made them do 3 pages in the math book. They were working, they were helping each other. I assigned students who couldn't read with students who could read so that the other student could at least read the question to them. Then I pulled the rest of them who didn't quite understand the vocabulary as strongly. I gave them a handful of duckies for that because I was really impressed. During science, I played some videos of plant parts and their functions. I used the orchid as a visual for roots, stem, leaves, and flowers. End of the day was a little chaotic because I'm explaining the homework. They have to pull a page from their math journal and they gotta put it into their folders. Make sure that their desks are nice, line up. Day was surprisingly better than expected, especially with how their attention was in the morning. gosh, my hand is so tired. Today was one of the best days that I've had. They're becoming more independent in the morning. There was a lot more engagement throughout the day. We learned about different types of nouns, so I went over noun, plural noun, and proper noun. We didn't get to fully go over the proper nouns, but we talked about a teacher and how if it's a plural noun, it's more than one, and we add an S or an ES. Proper noun is more specific. So teacher, teachers, Ms. Trin, brother, brothers. I had them share their brothers' names. I realized that they're more engaged when I draw pictures. Today was also our first time checking out books from the library. And then we finished writing the body paragraph for our writing prompt about dogs being popular. The last time when we talked about dogs in a circle map, I categorized it by looks, what they can do, and how they feel. We looked over what we talked about and tried to connect it to how they were popular. So are they popular because they have 2 ears? No, because a lot of living things do. But they are popular because they're cute. So that first sentence, I gave them a chance to think about how to create a sentence with dogs and cute. I had someone share and then we wrote it down and copied it. For these two, they got to choose which idea they wanted to talk about, and then I had each student share their sentence and I gave them the go to write it down. If they were early, they got to draw their picture and color it. And then we came back together to do the last one. For math, we did a continuation on picture graphs. So a lot of them are starting to get it. I think their reading is just really low, so they're not able to completely read the questions by themselves, but they're getting better at underlining the key details within the question and trying to comprehend that, oh, it's looking for cylinders and spheres. It was a good day. I had so many students who made it to my purple, which is my star student, and they were supposed to get like their bling bling and clip it into my hair. This is the bling bling. We ran out of time because everyone takes so long to follow directions when it comes to taking out their homework journal, pulling it out, getting the other paper, and putting those 2 papers into their homework folder and looking ready. But now I know that I need extra time to get ready on Wednesdays. Also, there's going to be a new teacher meeting later today talking about our evaluations for this year. And I'm so nervous, not for the meeting, but for the evaluation. I have so many kids that get distracted so easily. Before my evaluation, I really want to work on differentiating enough during small group time so that my lower kids can at least comprehend enough to understand the lesson. I just have so much to do already.
You told me that your favorite ice cream flavor was strawberry. And Melissa, did you choose up or down? You said down. I can do magic. I can do magic. What? Okay. Bubble, bubble. Bubble, bubble. And I say pop. My star students from yesterday are going to go get their clip to get their bling bling. Ready? Pop.
Not one of my best days for teaching. In the morning, I was really drilling them, like, get out your high frequency words, then we'll do our fluency builder. It's that routine of knowing what you're doing when you're walking in. When we were learning our word for the day, which was positive, they weren't as engaged with it. We went on to teaching about key details that support a main topic, and we went back to passages that we already read, but it just wasn't getting through to their heads. I told them that each key detail needs to connect to the main topic, and the main topic was make food with corn. And one of the key details was that they could make cornbread, and I asked them, is that a food made with corn? Yes. And when it was their turn to try, only like 3 of them out of 21 were able to connect that corn tortillas could be a supporting detail because it's food made with corn. I also have a lot of students who just don't pay attention in my classroom, and it's like when I'm asking them to share their ideas, they don't share, they don't turn their bodies. During our small group time, my first group did really well. That's the group that's still learning to decode. But for my second group, we were working on key details again. When I read it sentence by sentence and I'm asking for their comprehension, I'll read a sentence like, the tadpole loses its tail. What happened to the tadpole? And it flies over their head. Something that I'm really struggling with is providing enough visuals for what I'm teaching, but at the same time, they need to read it themselves and use those questioning strategies to comprehend it and produce something for the assessment. Math today, I was really working on comprehending the question, like let's break it down slowly so that I'm not the one reading it for them all the time. Science, I played this funny video about tree parts. It's called head, shoulders, knees, and toes for trees. Half of them were not having it, but eventually we went outside and I had them circle around this tree and sit down. But then this beetle came. All of them were freaking out, so they started running around and I was just like, oh my gosh, what is going on with my class today? I wanted to take them out to learn about trees in a real environment, and this is what's happening. We ended the day with PE, joining another class. We were doing these stations. One was a beanbag toss, one was a beanbag toss with that thing that throws it, one was hula hoops, skipping. So many of my kids started showing their behaviors. 3 of my kids started bawling. We started choosing the responsible kids to do the fun activities first. Then I had other kids always touching each other, some of them talking on the side. Now the other teacher knows what I am going through every day. It's the end of the 3rd full week of school. Last night I had an induction meeting and I tried to stay back to plan for all of next week. I'm just kind of lost on what resources I should use for my small groups and what resources I should use to teach as a whole class. I talked to the other 1st grade teacher about my problem and I really want to work more on classroom management. I have a lot of students who get very distracted throughout the day and I need to be very fast with pointing that out and praising everyone else who's doing well. It's just very hard in my class when there's 6 to 7 of them who get very distracted and are playing with things. I have so much to do, so I'm planning to stay after school today. I'll probably be here until 8 p.m. but I want to plan for next week so that I'm not stressing every day after school. So I took my other teacher's advice of having more engagement by always constantly making them respond, and it is working. I'm drilling it, like, repeat after me. We're going to say it again. It's tiring for me and I need more water. If that's what it takes to get them to respond and to get them to pay attention, then that's what I'm gonna do. They're probably a little confused, like, where is this coming from? So we did our morning routine again, but then I included this decodable book called Mr. Dan Has a Plan, and it's the first time they saw it for homework to read every night, and it's going to go into their homework folders. Speaking of which, I need to staple their iReady QR codes onto each of their homework folders right now during lunch so that they can do it over the weekend. Fridays I don't give homework, but if the parents want them to do extra work, then they can just go on iReady because that program is so useful for differentiating. We continued key details again. It was way better than it was yesterday. And a big part of that is because I'm drilling them to respond more. It's lunchtime right now. I'm going to eat and staple their QR codes. After lunch is a diagnostic for math and a very quick teaching of Leader in Me, which is, I think, still being proactive right now. And then I have this for art. It's plant necessities, since we've been learning about what plants need and what flowers have. After school, I have a lot of planning to do and a lot of things I need to look through in terms of resources that I can use. Right now, I'm feeling really good. Cleanup time for art gets so crazy, and I was rushing them because we were almost late to dismissal again. I really liked what I chose for art today, and it's because it connected to our science learning of what plants needed. The best part is how students get to be creative with it. I bought this off of TPT, but I added nutrients and space, but look at how cute their flowers turned out. I love it when they can get creative and unique with the designs. This room space is so small that I can't even have any headings on my bulletin borders because if I want to put up student work, there's just not enough space for my 21 students in this science section. Even if science was this whole space, I would have no spot in the classroom for social studies. So I gotta take this down. That way it's not like a designated spot for something and I can just put whatever I want on top.